And so as we look at those alternative forms of energy and what it takes to generate energy from those sources, we're going to be asking ourselves, well, what pieces and parts and components and equipment is required to do those things, and who might manufacture and make those, and what kind of new technology is going to be required to go into them? What sort of expertise might you need, or software, to make all of that happen, and how much of that could be done here and exported from here? So it's not just about making electrons. It's about all that's going to go into the ability to make electrons using those new sources. Second is the demand side. So once you're generating the stuff, the other issue in the energy equation is demand. So this is the efficiency, and whether that's in buildings, your homes, manufacturing processes, our food processing plants, the street lighting, you name it, plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, the whole gamut is a way to manage on the demand side. And the same question is going to be asked as we research those elements: is what equipment, what services, what software, what expertise, what engineering talents, what is it that we can do to build businesses around that and export that expertise, that equipment to others to build sustainable jobs. At the same time, we'll demonstrate how it is that we can manage demand in our own communities. Third element is delivery. So if you're generating it here, you're using it over there, how do you get it from A to B? And this is where the grid comes into play. This is where you hear things about energy storage. If the wind doesn't blow every day, or it's blowing hard and the turbines are making electricity when you don't need it, where do you store that electricity? So on and so forth. These are huge issues and are a big part of making this entire system work. And so we intend to be involved in that, and how you make and store electricity, the cybersecurity issues associated with that, the physical infrastructure, quality, reliability, and then all the pieces and parts, the electronics, the software, the expertise that are required to do all of that. We hope that we can generate new businesses here and jobs to go along with that. And the last element too in all of this is, if you forget the electricity side of this thing and you want to think about greenhouse gas and all of that kind of stuff, there's the whole notion of hydrocarbons and materials, and how do you get them out and replace them with what? So whether it's the clothing that you wear, or the paint that you put on walls, or so many other products that are in our daily lives, how do you remove basically the components of oil and replace that with what? And that's what our whole bioproducts initiative is about in this community, and to the extent that that plays a role beyond just biofuels, but actually in everything basically that gets made and produced and manufactured, then we would like to have a play in all of that as well. Then the last component of this is, as always in this community, we never do anything in isolation. So all of this is about having an agenda, as I just described to you, having what that would mean to us, but being able to partner and collaborate with others. How do you get the financing to do all these things? What policy changes do we need to make here locally, at the state level, federally, to make this happen? What kind of land, what kind of infrastructure? That whole list of what I call enablers that help us drive the other components are the last piece of the equation here. Now, that all sounds good. That's the hand-waving part of this, which I've been doing. But as you'll see in your on the centerfold there are a lot of irons already in the fire. The Northwest Grid Demonstration Project was one of the grand national challenges. The piece that money came from the federal government to the tune of what, $150 million. We bid, we won. We're in that game. We're a player in that. The Energy Northwest has requested 20 square miles of land from the Department of Energy for an energy park out by their complex. The building efficiencies regional innovation cluster proposal has come out from the federal government. That's about $130 million, and we're in the forefront of bidding on that, which will help on the efficiency game. There's the whole vitrification plant power issue. Instead of burning diesel to make the electricity and supply the steam to the plant, what alternative forms of energy could we use? That's very real. There's some solar demonstration projects coming through the Department of Energy. So there's a lot already underway that are very specific, concrete projects that we have in our game plan. So I told somebody the other day when I sat through my first meeting and I walked out, and you've heard me say this probably at roundtable meetings, but I feel like someone took a jigsaw puzzle and just threw all the pieces on the table. And what they didn't give me was the top of the box. So trying to assemble all these pieces and parts and put that together into a comprehensive vision, a picture of what success looks like, is something that we're trying to do right now, and literally draw a picture for all of you and the people in our community and beyond to understand that if we're successful in doing all the things I just described to you, what would it look like? And how will we know that we've got there? What measures do we want to use then to make sure, to assure that the pieces of that jigsaw puzzle are being assembled in the right way? We have all the pieces that we need. So that's what we're doing now, and putting together a project plan. In thinking through all this and just how gigantic it really is, but all the potential that's in it, a lot of people in this country have said, you know, what we need is a moonshot kind of a program with respect to clean energy, and that's true. And I think President Kennedy's quote when he basically launched what we now know as the Apollo program was a good one. But, you know, about a year after he gave that speech, he gave another one down in Houston at Rice University. And there's another great quote associated with that that's in there, and that was basically that we choose to do these things, and we choose to do them not because they're easy, but because they're hard. And I think that's what this community is all about. I don't think we've ever shied away from these grand challenges that have faced us and our well-being and our future. And we've risen to the occasion every single time, and we've delivered every single time. And so it's my intention that we'll do that again. Lastly, since this is a day of saying thanks to lots of people, I'd like to thank Keith Klein and Diane Howard, who were co-chairing this during its infancy and getting it underway. And my hat's off to Gary Peterson and Tracy Zhao at the TRIDEC staff, who provided countless hours behind the scenes making this all work. Thanks a lot.
Mike, thank you. And you know, there's no question. I think everybody would agree. There's no question that we've got the right person to put the puzzle together and create that great picture on the top of the box. So thank you very much. Thanks. We've talked about team today, and I want to also recognize our team. And Mike mentioned Gary Peterson and Tracy Zhao, but there's a great team of dedicated employees at TRIDEC. And you know, when I came to this job, you know, that was one of the things that impressed me the most, was that the staff had longevity at TRIDEC. They were all very hard workers. They were all committed to the organization. And as I've gotten to know each of them, it's really been a pleasure to work with them. And I think those of you in the room that have gotten to know them also would agree with that it's just a great group of people. It's now my pleasure to introduce Rogers Weed. Rogers was appointed by Governor Chris Gregoire as Director of the Department of Commerce in March of 2009, so he's just passed his first anniversary. As Director, Rogers is charged with fulfilling the Governor's clear mission to grow and improve jobs in the state of Washington. Rogers earned a degree in computer science from Duke University and then an MBA from Wharton School at University of Pennsylvania. He started his career as a management consultant, and in 1990 joined Microsoft and held a variety of positions, rising to the level of vice president with Microsoft over the 15 years he was with that company. He's been a board member and serves and helped several nonprofits in the Seattle area. He lives with his wife and 3 sons in Seattle. So please welcome Rogers Weed.
Thanks for that introduction, Carl, and it's a pleasure to be able to come here and speak to some kindred spirits about what's going on in the economy, what's going on in the state, what's going on with the Department of Commerce, and how we're all going to work together to grow and improve jobs. And I just need to publicly disabuse Mike of his sense of my guitar playing. Mike's band is Highway 12. If I had a band, it would be Highway to something, and I'll let you fill in the blank there. But what I will offer Mike is to hook him up with my oldest son, who has started a band and is busy learning songs, recording them, videoing them, and uploading them to YouTube, something I can hardly imagine having done at his age. So anyway, let me see if I can get this to work.